Hi, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. So today I'm going to be discussing the Darkest Minds trilogy, and really I have not made a video in a long time, so I'm going to be a little rusty, but this is going to be a spoiler-free review, and I might do a spoilery review eventually, but for now this is spoiler-free. And I'm just going to tell you what I liked about these books, basically, because there's not a lot that I didn't like. I definitely recommend it, and the movie came out recently, so I decided, I'm just going to review the whole trilogy since I read it pretty fast. So the first book I'm going to get into, The Darkest Minds, right here. And I have the other two, but not with me. So this first book was so good. It's obviously, if you know anything about the book, it's about Ruby, a girl named Ruby, who lives in a world where there's a disease that is either killing children or giving them abilities. And the abilities are obviously ranked somehow, so they're ranked by color, and she finds out eventually that she is an orange, which is very, very powerful. So yeah, that's scary for her, but she's put in this like concentration camp almost. Um, Very scary stuff, and it's so real and raw, the emotions in this book, and just the like straightforward way that Alexandria Bracken, the way that she writes, it's kind of straightforward, but it's also detailed in a very like simple way. Does that make sense? Like it's detailed a little bit, but it's not like written like a poem, you know? It's not like um there's some books like Maggie Steffener, her books, at least the ones I've read, kind of sound poem-like. The writing seems lyrical to me. It wasn't like that, but it was still beautiful writing. And so that really caught me in this book. And also just the characters felt real. They were really well developed, and the story was awesome. The plot was awesome. Obviously, I've read books with similar plots, especially for a first novel, but once I got to that second novel, that's when things got real and things were different, and it was unlike a book I've read before. And the second and third novel were really like books I've never read books like that. Um, they were really unique and really good, and I really just wanted to cry at the end of this series because it was just so emotional. And I know there's going to be a few other books from someone else's point of view, but we'll get into that later if I can. I don't even know anything about that. So maybe in another video I'll talk about that. But anyways, in the next book, so we have The Darkest Minds and then Never Fade. Yeah, Never Fade. So that book, like I said, it really blew me away. It was so good. It was kind of slow, but still, it just brought so many things together for me. And I don't know, usually like middle books like that aren't that great, but this one was, and definitely worth reading, even if some of it is hard to get through, just because it's a lot of like planning and getting everything together. And then in the third book, in the Afterlight, I always want to say the Afterlife, but it's the Afterlight. The characters are also planning for a lot of things. They're getting everything together. They're getting war plans together. They're trying to save people, and it obviously that takes a lot of build up, but there's still action in the book, and there's still these tensions running high that keeps you reading. And it's not like petty tensions, like these are teenagers, and obviously tensions are running high, so you think, oh, it's going to be like petty back and forth kind of fighting, and a little bit of it is, but once you figure out why they're really fighting and what's going on the inside, you realize it's really not that petty. So I'm sorry, I'm getting through this so fast and I'm like breathing so hard. But if that makes sense to you, these characters are like, they're fighting with each other, but they're also fighting this bigger force, and it's a lot to take in. Oh, the last book was so good. Really, by the end of it, I was almost in tears. I don't cry during books. I don't really know why. I have a really hard time crying. Like, I could count on my hand how many books I've cried during. So, yeah, it really hit home. It was just so raw and so emotional, and it just reminded me of like the beginning of this book, you know, and the end of this book. Because the end of this book was really, really raw, and especially if you've read it, you know what happens. It was just like, man, that hit me, and so did the last book at the end. So yeah, I was very pleased with it. Um, I really, I can't complain, you know, like there's really, I'm sure there are things that I could complain about. You can in any book, but I can't think of them right now because it was that good. And I've been like sitting around waiting to do this video, and I really can't think of a lot of like cons. It was just a good series if you like this kind of stuff. It's kind of dystopian. So yeah, if you're into that, like this is a great series. Of course, I know some people might not want it because it's kind of slower or I don't know. I like the main character. I don't see a problem with her. She's pretty strong and independent, and she really comes into herself during these books and learns more about herself and how she affects others, you know, as she grows stronger or weaker, who that helps and who it doesn't. And it's really beautiful to see that character develop because I think she did. Maybe a con is I wish she had developed even more. I feel like Ruby is a great character, but yeah, sometimes I wish I could see even more into her head, you know, even though you saw so much. I don't know why that just I just feel like I could see more and I'd be happy with it, you know. Also Liam, sometimes I wish that he was shown more. I feel like I did get a good sense of who he was and I wanted them to date, you know, but also I feel like sometimes he was a little bit absent. But yeah, besides that, like the book is great. Like Chubbs is great. Oh my gosh, Zoo is great. Um, but yeah, it's awesome. So, anyways, that is my non-spoilery review. If you want to see a spoilery one, I will also do that because I have some stuff to talk about. So, thank you so much for coming to my channel. I hope I can see you in my next video. Remember to subscribe if you want to. You definitely don't have to because I don't put out a ton of videos. It's just when the moment strikes or when I've had time to finish a book is usually when I'll put up a video. So yeah, if you have a channel, let me know about it. I really like to check out new channels. So thank you for stopping by. Bye.